All right, so this private reading is for Garrett. I apologize. I think I seen your email like a day later than when you sent it, so I feel like I took too long to respond, so I apologize. And also for a late start. So I was just really trying to take a minute to kind of consider how I'm going to go about this reading. And like I mentioned in the email, I'm going to pull less cards, less than I normally do, and try to zone in or zoom in on those specific topics. And I also have your email open. So the first email, two topics, and one about my business and the incel community. Do you see my business taking off sooner in the near future? Came through with not doubting him at all. In fact, I liked the message that came through and just would like an expansion on that, mainly what you pick up in general. Have I found my calling? And just like, how do people in my community perceive me, especially if I'm going into business? Do they just feel sorry for me and are humoring me to make me feel good? So I want to start with that one, and then we'll go through it. So I have several decks out here, and I intentionally chose each one of these decks for this particular reading. And I intentionally chose the dark, oh gosh, I forgot. It's called the dark, what is it called? Can't even remember the name. I believe it is the Dark Mirror Oracle. And it's kind of a good deck to look at the shadow self and things that we need to work on. Maybe it's going to show some of the things that you feel about yourself and things that you need to kind of get away from. And so I thought we would start with that one. So let's see what could be blocking you, or holding you back, or something that you need to work on. All right. What message for Garrett? What's the message for Garrett? What could potentially be holding Garrett back right now? Mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. Something that Garrett needs to work on. Okay, so let's start with these two. So we've got the temple of my body, which is basically not feeling worthy. And we have naked before the stars, acceptance of oneself. Let's do one more. Addicted. So that one is kind of self-explanatory. We all have addictions. I personally have a very addictive personality. So I have to be careful with the things that I do, because before I know it, I'll be addicted to something. That's just how it is, and it's really hard for me to break that. So you've got three things here. You've got the temple of my body. So this one here, not feeling worthy. Not feeling like you deserve. Okay, so that is something that you're going to have to mentally work on for yourself, because that is something that is in your thoughts, and that could potentially be holding you back. So I don't know what's going on with the business, and it could just be because I double checked. I went to your Instagram before I came on here, and I scrolled through the pictures that you have posted, and they are absolutely stunning. I don't know, and I'm not just saying that, they're absolutely stunning images, and just perfect pictures. The views are amazing. So is there something that I don't, as far as the business not going off like how maybe you were hoping for, there's other factors that I want you to consider. Number one, the economy right now. Everything is skyrocketing in prices. The economy is not good at this point in time, and I myself, being a small business owner, have felt the brunt of that as well for the past couple of months. And things haven't been that great because, I make candles and wax melts, and right now people can't afford those extra things like that. And so business has taken a huge decline. But at the end of the day, I know my products are good. I have confidence in my products. And I know that the orders will eventually come, that it's post-Christmas, and like I said, the economy's bad, but you have to have faith in yourself, and you have a skill, no doubt about it, because when I take pictures, they don't look like that. So you need to start working on knowing your self-worth. You need to know that you are good enough, that your work is amazing, and you need to start thinking that way from here on out. And you deserve success. You will have success. You deserve success. I believe in manifestation 100% wholeheartedly, and what you put out there is what you bring back. So if you are focusing on success, and I shit you not, I have done this. I have went to bed before, and before bed there was a time where I had no orders for probably a couple of weeks. And I went to bed one night and I said, you know what? I'm going to will it. I'm going to will it. And I said verbally out loud, I will wake up to 2 orders tomorrow. I will wake up to 2 orders tomorrow. And I swear to God, I had 2 orders the next day. And I thought, oh, okay, so it's that confidence. It's that I am going to do it. I am going to succeed. I am going to have orders. And you put that out into the universe, and you bring that, you draw that back. If you put out these thoughts of, am I good enough? Am I going to do it? Do people really like the work that I'm doing, or do they feel sorry for me? That is what you're going to draw in, and you're going to manifest it. So you really need to start working on your self-worth and not doubting yourself, and know that no, people are not saying those things to be kind to you. They're saying it because your work is fantastic. But you do need to start working on the fact that you believe that yourself. And then we have Naked Before the Stars. And this one is, again, it kind of goes with the first one, accepting oneself, accepting who you are. There are things about us, all of us, that we don't like. There are many things that I don't like about myself, inside and outside. Okay? That's just normal human nature. But at the end of the day, there's things that we can change, and then there's some things that we can't change. We can't, yes, a person can lose weight. A person can build muscle. A person could have, I suppose, surgery and have something done, or, a facelift, or whatever the case may be. But there's certain things about us that is just who we are as a person. And we can't change that. Some things we can, some things we can't. And so there has to be a level of, you know what? This is how I am. Take it or leave it. Accept it. I accept it. But that first part has to be you accepting it. You mentioned in your email to me that you felt unattractive. What makes you feel unattractive? And you don't have to answer that. That's just a rhetorical question. Is it something you can change? Is it, I always use the example of weight loss for myself. Is it something like that you can actually change? Or is it something that you cannot change? I grew up hating my nose. I also grew up hating my teeth. I still have a phobia about my teeth to this very day, to the point to where when I was in my 30s, I went and I got braces. I could not afford to finish the treatment, so I had the braces removed, and they are significantly better than what they were as I was growing up, but they're still in the back of my mind to where I will not smile for photos. I'm very self-conscious and very self-aware. Most of the time, people don't even notice anything, but I feel like they do. And that's just something that I have dealt with all of my life. It's something I could change, but it takes money to change that. And it's money that I don't have. And so I just have to come to this conclusion like, okay, my family loves me. It's not that bad. It's doable. I've seen much worse. And if somebody chooses not to have anything to do with me because of my teeth, then hey, you know what? F them. Whatever. There's nothing I can do about it. So there are things about ourselves that we have to kind of learn to accept if it's something we can't change. And then once you can come to terms of accepting that about yourself, you will start exhibiting different, if I were to go out in public every day and not smile or not laugh or not talk to people because I was so self-conscious about my teeth, I may come off as being an asshole, a bitch. Somebody might be like, God, she looks so angry all the time. And I have done that in the past, and I had to stop doing that because it was giving off this vibe of myself that wasn't representing me as who I am. So I had to stop doing that, and I thought, you know what, to hell with it. I'm going to go out and I'm going to talk to people, I'm going to smile, I'm going to laugh, whatever, because that's not who I am. I'm not kind of a nasty person like that, and so it really didn't represent who I was. So you have this... You hold a lot of power in your mind that you do need to work on. And then we have addicted. So this could be that, it's coming out because you do have addictions, which I do too. Again, there are some people who are more prone to becoming addicted to substances, or it doesn't even have to be substances. It can be addicted to thinking a certain way. But there is an issue of it because this card is coming out. And it looks like from this particular card, it looks like he is only harming himself at this point. So maybe reevaluate what the addictions are, okay? If it's mental, if it's just the way that you think about yourself. Maybe could it be just the fact that you are constantly questioning your self-worth, constantly questioning the quality of your work, and that has actually become a habit. It's become your norm. It's become, you just do it. That's just what you do. You cannot even imagine thinking of yourself as, I'm a great photographer. That just doesn't come to your mind first. So that's something that you're going to have to consciously work forward or work on moving forward. You're going to have to put a conscious effort into how you think about things and how you think about yourself in terms of your looks, your skill, everything. And it's not easy. It's not easy to do that. But you're going to have to kind of start pulling these little daggers out and start kind of healing each one of those. And it may take time. It may be something that you have to work on for the rest of your life. It might be some conscious effort that you have to put into every day and say, hey, you know what? Oh, nope, I'm falling down that road again. I'm becoming angry. I haven't made any sales. It's got to be because I'm not good at what I do, or people think I'm stupid, or they're laughing at me. No, you have to get rid of that. You have to get rid of that way of thinking. As hard as it is, you have to get rid of that thinking, because that thinking is what's harming you. All right, so those are some of the things that you need to work on, and I think that they were pretty cut to the chase. All right, so I want to start with the business side of things. And let me do this particular deck because this is the deck. It's a mini deck, but it's something that I like to use for career type questions because it's kind of, I don't know, I just get that vibe with this deck. So let's see what we have going on with Garrett's business. All right. You see it for something taking off soon in the near future. All right, what's the outlook on Garrett's business? And I can tell you right now, just based on those first three cards, that your confidence in yourself, your confidence level in yourself is going to depend on how your business takes off as well. Okay, you can be absolutely fantastic at what you do, which you are, but if you are constantly having this self-doubt, it just kind of is that it's that image that you're putting out, and sometimes it can actually, I'm not saying, don't be humble, but if you have that feeling, that's an aura that you put out there to others, and that can actually impact your business as well. So there's a lot of self work, I think, that needs to be done. All right. What kind of information does Garrett need to know about his business? Will the business be taking off in the future? Okay, the Elder of Swords. Interesting. The Elemental of Chalices, which is the Page of Cups, reversed. The Five of Chalices, which is the Five of Cups. Six of Wands, reversed. Judgment. The High Priestess, reversed. The Elemental of Pentacles, which is the Page of Pentacles, and let's do one more. And then we have the Initiate of Chalices, which is the Knight of Chalices, and that came out reversed. Okay, so kind of interesting. It's interesting that we started out with that King of Swords. And what is the element associated to swords? It's the mind. It's the consciousness. And the king is, again, they use the term elder because he's the top dog, right? And so this is a person who is confident, and they've reached that higher. They've ascended to a different level. They've went through everything. They're the professor. Okay, they're no longer the student. They're no longer the teacher. They're the professor. So they're, they've went through everything. They've learned what they've needed to learn. They're still learning, but they're at that top level. And so they've made an achievement. And I believe that is a sign that is, number one, mental, okay, that you need to work on. But it's also a sign that it's coming up, that you will work on it and you will overcome it and you will get to that level of achievement. And I also believe it's also a sign for the business, because this was a question as far as your business taking off. There are other cards here that indicate that you are in the early stages, and it may take time and it may take patience, and there's some things that you need to work on. But I do believe that ultimately it will be successful, because we are starting out with a king. So then we have the Elemental of Chalices, which is the Page of Cups, and it's reversed. And sometimes people with the Page of Cups, they associate that with love, or the beginnings of love or affection. It can be a person, or it can be for something. It can be, your love for photography. It can be, wanting love, a relationship, a partner, and not being able to attain it, because when it's reversed like that, it's saying that it's not being attained right now. You're not reaching it. You're not getting what you want. Okay. And then this person here is underwater. She is completely submerged in water. Usually the Page of Cups is holding a chalice, but she is absolutely immersed in water. Water in tarot is associated to your feelings and your emotions. And so when I see water all around her, then her emotions are getting the best of her. Okay, she is completely under the water. And it doesn't look like it's, it's not like a ton of waves, or I'm not getting necessarily a bad feeling from it, but she does have things like seaweed attached to her arms and her legs, her wrists. And so there's almost a feeling of I get a feeling of being tied down, being stuck in this emotional spot. And it's a very emotional spot because, like I said, it's reversed. Okay, and so, I feel like you're frustrated. This is a frustration card of, I'm in the beginning, okay, and it's not going as I planned. I'm trying, but I can't seem to get out of this situation. I can't seem to break through. I can't seem to, get going with what I wanted. This isn't how I thought it was going to be. This isn't how I planned it to be. And it's taking its toll on your emotions. All right, so we need to flip this over, and you need to remember that you are still in the early stages. You're still in that page. You're still in the elemental stage. Now, if this is referring to a relationship, well, to go back to that, I do want to add that sometimes in businesses, we know just, anybody who goes into a small business knows that those first couple of years are the toughest. And in the art world, sometimes it just takes that one break. It's one of those categories where you just have to bust your ass 24/7 to get your art out there, to get your pieces out there. We all know the term starving artist, right? That term exists for a reason, because it's a very hard path to take, but it is the path for you. It is the path for you, and you do have this king, okay? So it is the path for you, and you will get to your destination, but it isn't going to happen overnight. We have to go from the student to the teacher. You're still in the student section, okay? So you still got some ways to go. But that's not to say to give up. That's just to say keep going, continue to go full force. Whatever you can do, you do what you love, you do it with confidence, and you will become that teacher eventually. If this is a relationship, then there's things that I think that you need to deal with on an emotional level before you can kind of free yourself from whatever I consider the seaweed. I feel like those are bondages in a way. Those are bondages that are holding you back. So there could be potentially some emotional things that you need to deal with yourself before a relationship can be achieved. But once you deal with those things, whether it be through therapy, whether it be however you want to deal with it, you can start breaking free, and you will be able to turn this over. And you'll move up. You'll move up to the next stage. You're going to ascend upward. And then we have the Five of Cups. So the Five of Cups can sometimes represent shame. It can represent depression, distress, melancholy. It can be a lighthearted kind of upset card, or it can be a very serious depression card. So the one thing I notice about this card that's different from other decks is that there's two people in here, not just one. So I feel like you are the person on the ground, okay? You're the person on the ground, and I do feel like there's some definite like stress that you're dealing with. There's some definite issues that you're dealing with in emotional, especially an emotional situation right now. And so this tells me that there is support around you. And this is also a message to you that it's not going to be like this forever. Okay? That guy behind her is bringing her something else. Whatever she spilt down here, you just kind of have to like remember that maybe that wasn't good to drink. Maybe that wasn't what I was supposed to have. Maybe this stuff behind me that I'm not paying attention to is better for me. So maybe if one opportunity doesn't go through, it's because it just wasn't meant to, and another opportunity is going to come. But the point of this card is to try to have that positive outlook. Be conscious of your feelings, accept your feelings, deal with your feelings, and then you have to try to move on from those and start looking forward onto the next plan. There's so many projects I've started with my business, and I have been so excited to put them up and never sold. Put hard sweat into a product, thinking, oh my God, this is going to be loved by everyone. Didn't sell one. And, I could have said, well, That's it. I'm done. I'm not going to do anymore. I'm not going to waste my time and money on any more projects because it's just a waste and nobody's going to buy it anyways. But no, I keep doing new projects. I'm constantly trying to come up with new ideas, new different things, different scents, different styles, just to try to find that one. Try to find that one that really sells and takes off. And so you kind of have to have that drive, especially in a small business, artsy type world, to continue on. Okay, you just have to accept the losses and you have to continue on. You have to continue on, and even though it may take a conscious effort to do so, you have to do that. And then you have the Six of Wands, and that's reversed. So the Six of Wands is usually a celebration card. So basically it's telling me that right now you were hoping to be celebrating, but you're not yet. Okay, this card doesn't mean it's not going to happen when it's reversed. It just means it's not happening right now. But it will happen, and I have confidence that it will happen because we started out with this king. We started out, to me, when I looked at this king the first time it came out, I feel like this is you in the future. This is you in the future, and all of this stuff here that came out afterwards is the stuff that you're going through now and the stuff that you're going to overcome and get to this point. Now, when I look at him, and I don't know your age, I look at him, I look at kings, to be in their 40s, minimum 40s. Will it take you that long? Not necessarily, but it may be something that you will do for the rest of your life, and something happens in those later years, like your late 30s, 40s. I don't know how old you are, but that's kind of the age that I put these kings at, 40, 50. So I feel at that time you're going to be established. Okay, you're going to be established, but there's definitely, and there might be a little bit on your side, a little bit of a rushness, although it is frustrating because you're like, oh God, when is this is this gonna happen? Am I doing the right thing? Should I just give up? Am I not good enough? That is one of your main things, is your self-critiquing. Okay, and it has to be dealt with. And eventually this card is going to come over. It's going to roll over, and there is going to be cause for celebration. Okay, it's not going to happen overnight, but it is going to happen. And then we have judgment. I look at this as self-judgment. Not always, but it is what it is. It's judgment of oneself, judgment of others, and how we think other people are judging ourselves. Okay, so there is a lot of, I think, with this particular card, you have this woman who, looks like she has some guilt. Looks like she watched some people being executed, and she was just standing there and perhaps has some guilt because she didn't step in. I don't know, but she's sitting here and she's thinking about it, and it's obviously weighing on her conscience. So, I don't know if you've seen something or if you've done something, or have you witnessed something? There's something, I think, on your mind, and I actually think a lot of this is self-judgment. I really do. So this is a card that's coming out, and it's telling you that, yes, it's okay to self-judge to an extent. We all do it. It's human nature. But not to the point to where it starts to cripple your daily life. And I think that your self-judgment, and it could be judgment of others as well. When this card comes out, sometimes we judge other people. I know I do it. And it's just something that you have to kind of be like, oh, wait a minute, why? Let me not judge them because I have no idea what the hell they're going through in their life. So, I've said things about people and I'm like, you know what, I shouldn't say that. I take that back because I really don't know what they're going through. Sometimes we judge in a different way where we think other people have it made. Okay, I'm judging this person based on their Instagram post. It seems like they have the life. Nothing ever goes wrong for them. They have a clean house all the time. She's skinny, going by my own way I look at people, because I do it too, right? I'll go on Instagram and I'll see people that I went to school with, and I'm like, oh my God, she has 3 kids and she's so thin, and Her house is like spectacular, and how do you do it? How do you have little kids, and how do how is everything perfect? Your meals are perfect, and your life is perfect, and you're always going places, and you're doing things. Like, you must not have any problems in your life at all. And I actually have a woman in my mind that I'm thinking about while I'm saying these things, because I've done that. And I honestly have no idea what she goes through. I have no idea how tired she is. I have no idea what's going on in her life. She actually, this particular person that I'm referring to, has a young child who has epilepsy, really extremely bad. She has to go and take her daughter to a hospital, a couple of hours from her home to get treatment. And so sometimes what we think of other people's lives, it's not really what we're seeing on the surface, and we tend to judge based on what we think we're seeing on the surface, and that's not always obviously helpful, and that can make you reflect on yourself. So just be aware, just be conscious going forward, and most important, stop judging yourself. If you've done something that you feel bad about, you know what, you deal with it, you accept responsibility, you move on. And then we have the High Priestess reversed. So this one being reversed tells me, because the High Priestess is all about intuition, that sixth sense, knowing things, okay, paying attention to your inner voice. And so this actually tells me that you, with it coming out reversed, may not be doing that when you should. There's self-doubt. There's feeling like you should be doing something, wanting to do it, having that urge to do it, having that urge to want to do it, but you're not. And you're not doing it maybe because you're afraid of what people will say, or what people will think, or how they're going to look at you, or if they're going to laugh. And that is actually holding you back from success. So again, so far in this reading, it's all about how you perceive yourself, and how that, portrays out to other people, or projects to other people. And you're not... There's things I feel like you want to do, and you're not doing it because of self-doubt and whatever is going on here. And those very things that you're not doing are what you need to do. So if there's something that you feel like you've been wanting to do, if there's an art show, if there's a place where you want, I don't know, I'm just throwing things out there. If that's what you really, really want to do, and you have that urge to do that, then do it. Don't care what other people think. And I know that's hard, and it's easier said than done, but you're going to have to start trusting your gut and instinct and intuition, and you're going to have to start following that. And if it takes you outside of your comfort zone, that's okay, because that's how we expand, right? That's how we learn. We do things that frighten us or intimidate us sometimes, and that's a challenge that we overcome, and we grow from that. And so you are going to have to start definitely kind of being more in tuned with yourself. And then we have the Elemental of Pentacles. So this is the Page of Pentacles. And again, pages are young, and they don't always represent people. They can actually represent an idea. Pentacles are material, they're financial, they're health. Again, this tells me that you're in the early stages. You're in the early stages of your business. So the money isn't quite there yet, okay? But you're growing. This card is a growing card. It's the stepping stone to the next level. It's not a going backwards card, it's a going forward. So if you go forward and you know what you want, and you are working on that, and you are, doing everything that you can to succeed, that success will come, okay? It might even, I don't know how much, artwork and photography, I don't know what I don't know anything about that world. I don't know if you sell pieces, or if you sell like the prints. I'm not sure how you do it, but again, this is an early stage, and it's a stepping stone to the next level. So I do feel like actually success is going to take off. And I'm going to draw another card for timing, but I do feel like at this point you will be established. Okay, so from here to here, though, there's some stepping stones that you're going to have to conquer and go up. And then we have the Initiate of Chalices, so that's the Knight of Cups. And it's also reversed. And it's interesting because the Knight of Cups is also sometimes associated to relationship. So is that page. And they both came out reversed. So there's something in the emotional area, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a relationship, but usually this is a sign that the relationship is not happening, or you're not finding the relationship, or you're wanting a relationship and it's not coming, or it can be just like an inanimate, like for example the business. That could be the relationship, that could be the love, that could be the emotional tie or the emotional bond. It could be your business, right? And it's just not turning out the way you had hoped. And that is explaining why it's reversed. And I think that, again, it goes back to everything we've talked about. It's having self-worth. It's having confidence in yourself and doing things that you know you should be doing but aren't doing because, you're concerned about how you will appear to other people. Now, I do want to ask specifically about timing, and I also want to ask if people actually do find your work credible, and we'll see what they say. So this one here, I want to know kind of if we can get a specific time as far as this came out as far as timing of when your business will take off. All right. So we have the Ten of Swords, and we have the Two of Swords reversed. And I'm going to stop it there. We have the Five of Swords. All right, so I do feel like it's not going to happen like immediately, okay? I really feel like with that number 10 coming out for the first one, the 10 in tarot is kind of at the, I don't want to say the end of a cycle, but it's the completion of a cycle. And so there's something, there's a cycle that you're in and you're not quite, there's something that has to come full circle. And it has a lot to do with what we just said, with everything that we just talked about. There's something that has to come full circle, and then when that circle continues on, that's going to be the takeoff time. So this is a 10. We need to figure out where you're at on that line of 1 to 10. And I really do feel like you're still in the early stages, the first half of that. And I say that because we have a 2 and we have a 5. So this one here is a decision. There's something that you need to do. There's something that you have been neglecting to do. I don't know what it is, but this is either a decision that is too hard to make, or you don't know what decision to make, but there's a choice that needs to be made, and you're not moving forward with that, and that is preventing you from going to the next level. So I don't know what it is. Is it I'm not sure. I'm not sure what it is, but there's some choice, there's some decision, and you are, it's almost like, she's got that guy behind her and he's in a cloak and she's just sitting there and she has no idea what's going on. She can't see anything. It's like she sees no way out, and she just doesn't know which sword to go with. She doesn't know which decision to make. And so there's something I feel like you've been weighing, and it's something big. It's something that is significant to the future of your business in photography and how things are going to turn out. And it's something that either you've been neglecting to choose, or perhaps neither choice is what you want. But it is one of those choices that you're gonna have to choose, even if one of them isn't much better than the other. you have that choice for a reason. Whatever it is, you're going to have to choose one, and you're going to have to go through whatever that is to get to that next step. And it might not be an easy step. Okay, it might be, again, I have no idea. It could be a million things, but there's something that you need, and I feel like you know what it is. Like, what this thing is that's been weighing on you for quite some time now, and you're just not sure of how to move forward. And maybe you're trying to figure out a way to where you don't have to choose either one, and it's keeping you stagnant. It's keeping you where you're at. You're not moving on because you're neglecting to make that choice. So that's the first step. There's something that you need to do, and I think that you know what it is. You'll know what it is, but you have to do that first. And then we have the Five of Swords. So the Five of Swords can represent competition. So I feel like this is also a sign that is it's a card that's telling you that you are going to have to be sharp. You're going to have to be sharp and quick-witted, and you're going to have to outthink your competitors. You're going to have to fight to be at the top, because the competition out there is horrendous. So there's definitely going to be other people out there doing the same thing as you, right? Same thing with me. I'm not the only one that makes candles and wax melts. You go on Etsy, and probably a million other shops around there doing the exact same thing that I'm doing. But I have to try to do the best that I can do and have the best product that I have, and try to come up with different things and unique things, offer scents or fragrances that not many other people offer. There's something you have to kind of think outside of the box and be creative, and that is something that you're going to have to do, and I think that you will have to continuously do it, but I think that you will, because I keep thinking of that king, and I keep thinking of your establishment, and it's going to be a lot of hard work. It's not going to be easy to get to that king level, but you are going to be able to get there. But first thing is first. You have to make that choice. You have to make that decision of whatever it is. Stay on your toes. Stay sharp in your mind. Your thinking, your creativity, your intelligence, all of that is on your side. It's in your favor, and it's going to help you. Okay? But, it is a factor that you have to consider. But I do feel like you're kind of, once you make that decision, then you're kind of like halfway there. And so I actually think that it could potentially take a couple more years for you to actually start to think, okay, this is what I was hoping for. And I know that seems like a long time, but it isn't really. Okay. So now, okay. Oh, I wanted to ask specifically, and I'm going to switch to another deck. I'm going to go to the Lo Scarabeo. What do the people in my community, how do people in my community perceive me? All right. So now we're going to, and that question really goes back to what we've been talking about thus far. You probably already have an idea, or you think you have an idea of how they perceive you. And you're concerned about how they perceive you, which is, again, to a certain extent, healthy and normal, all right? But it might actually be to the point to where it is inhibiting you from going further, because you're so concerned about what the community thinks of you, and they may not be thinking anything negative at all. But we'll see. We'll see what comes up. So what does the community think of Garrett? What does the community think of Garrett? What does the community think of Garrett? Oh. Well, I can tell you right now, they think a lot higher. They think of you a lot higher than what you think they do. I'm only going to draw 3 cards for this. Oh, okay, great. And then let's do the bottom one. All right, interesting, very interesting. So the Sun doesn't get much better than that. They actually think that you're great, and I was hoping an ace would come out. I was hoping an ace would come out in this reading. They think that you're quite talented, they think that you're intelligent, and they think that you're mentally sharp, because that's what swords are. They are mentally, they're all about the mental, the consciousness, the anything state of the mind, right? And so that ace, when it's upright, is a good card. It is a good omen card, and that ace right next to that Sun, you can't beat that. You cannot beat those two together. So when you ask me, what does the community think of you? I want you to think of these 2 cards, and I want you to start remembering that whenever you are questioning yourself and your capabilities. And when you're thinking about these other people and what they think of you, you're going to have to say, hey, you know what? No, they actually think they are actually quite impressed with my abilities. They are looking at me as very competent. I mean, this Sun card is different from most because it's a man and not a boy. So they actually are looking at you as very, I look at that card as very, what do I want to, almost, more qualified than what they expected. It's like your skill level is beyond your age. It's almost like they wouldn't expect somebody at your age maybe to be as skilled as you are, if that makes sense, because I'm used to the Sun card being a little boy. It's a little boy riding on a horse. But like I said, that's not what we see here. We're seeing a grown man, a young man, okay, but a grown man nonetheless, and he is confident. He is standing his ground. He looks content, even happy. The Sun is behind him. He's got that sword up, so his mind is sharp and everything is going good for him. And so that is how they see you. Confidence. That's confident. So you actually are portraying to other people. That's how they're seeing you. That's not how you see you, but that's how they see you. And this again goes with that. However, we do have the 5 of Pentacles reversed, and so this can be that health. It can be health or finances, and so there might be people realizing, I don't know what this is representing for you. I don't know if it's monetary, material, or health. Okay. And because it's right next to the sword, it can even represent mental health, because we've got 2 swords here. Even though the Sun isn't a sword, he is holding a sword. So we've got 2 mental cards here, and then we've got the reverse 5 of Pentacles. So it's almost like there is, you did actually ask, okay, what do they think of me and my work? Why do I seem to get positive comments and reception, but when I try to sell, it's simply a flat line? Bigger city. Okay. There was something that you said that I thought of right now. Okay, at the very end, it says, do a lot of these men suffer from social... This is about the incel community, and you say, do a lot of these men suffer from social disorder or mental illness, or both? Is it mostly in their heads or some form of psychosis? So I can't really answer that 100% because I'm not qualified to answer that. I don't know these people. They could very well have a psychosis or a mental illness. That's quite possible. It's kind of a case-by-case basis, but I do feel like your mental is playing with you. You see, do a lot of these men suffer. I think that you have issues that you have to constantly. It's like a battle that it's an inside your head battle all the time that you're dealing with, and I feel like it's coming up. These two cards are how they think of you. That's just how they think of you. But you need to really make sure that you're working on your mental health. That is most important. Okay, that is most important, because to me, I see 3 cards here. Okay, 2 of them are phenomenal cards, and then you have this one card here that's still weighing you down. So you're really kind of having to work on your mental side and dealing with your own anxieties and your own feelings of self-worth, or not having feelings of self-worth. But I want you to know that this is what the community is thinking of you, okay? And it's good. Why aren't the sales coming in? Why aren't the sales coming in? That also 5 of Pentacles. Actually, you know what? Now that I think about it, I also feel like this is them as well. And it is a financial card for them too. So I do feel like there is financial reasons behind the lack of sales as well. So these people, they find you to be quite competent. They find you to be, really good at what you do. They look at you as being intelligent. However, I do feel like a lot of it is financial, that they cannot support you. They want to support you, but there are reasons, multitudes of reasons why they're not, and it's not because the work isn't good. Okay, these 5 Pentacles can represent different things. It can represent health problems. It can represent their finances. They could be going on hard times. It could be the fact that you are in an area where it's not very, like you mentioned, moving away and going to a larger city. You know, when I look at this area here, it's like one person, one tree. It's desolate. It's cold. It's winter. It's kind of an unforgiving area. It's a cold card, right? It's a cold and lonely card. So it might be the fact that you are in an area where it's just not the best for your business. If there is a way or a means for you to relocate, maybe that's something that you can actually start planning for and putting into practice, or putting it into motion step by step. Maybe right now it's not financially feasible for you to move, but that can be something that you can say, hey, you know what? I'm going to put a 5-year plan out. I'm going to start saving. I want to end up over here because I know that I can do really well over here. Even if it takes me 5 years to do it, or 10 years, I'm going to do it. And then just do it. Stick to it and do it. But it does kind of look like the area that you're in is not a very good area for that. And I'm picking that up from this card. It's just not a very good area. But that's not to say that they don't love your work. All right. So I think that answered that question. And okay, let me go back again. Okay. And actually, no, I do not think that they think that you're a scam artist. There's nothing here that indicates. It's quite the contrary. They think you're very skilled. They think that you're I look at that as one of a kind. It's a number 1. It's a 1. It's a beginning. I think that they actually are quite impressed, given the fact that you're just starting out. And they're quite impressed with the skill level. Okay. But like I said, there's other reasons that are causing the sales to not be there. And you're taking it in a completely different way. And I'm glad the cards came out, because I felt like this before I pulled cards. And so these cards are kind of confirming, right? I feel like it's almost like you're taking a hit in so many different aspects because of the sales not being there. So you're starting to have self-doubt. You're starting to wonder if your work is good enough. You can't figure out what it is. You can't figure it out. Why aren't they buying? Why aren't they buying? Is it the way I look? Is it the way I talk? Is it my personality? Is my work not good? And all those things are starting to take its toll on you, and it's messing with your mind. So I do want you to confidently know that that is not how people perceive you. Okay, people are just going through different things. I do think that the location is a factor as well. All right, so, okay, how do I better integrate into the local fabric and local scene? All right. How can Garrett better integrate into the local community? How can Garrett... All right, so we've got the Chariot, and we've got the Empress reversed, and we've got the Ace of Wands reversed. Okay, so okay, to me, when I see that Chariot, I feel like we've got movement, we've got transportation. So it might not be the area for you. Okay, honestly, it might not be. It might be an indication that it is going to require movement. This is usually a movement forward card, but it is movement nonetheless. It is going forward. It is transportation. He is in a carriage and he is moving. And that town is behind him. Usually you can kind of see the city behind him. He's leaving it in the dust usually, right? He's putting that place behind him because it's not the place for him. So I do feel like there is going to be a movement in your future. It might play back to that Two of Swords that you had earlier with that decision. Maybe that's the decision. Maybe you have to sit here and think, okay, where am I going to have the best options for what I want to do? There are small towns, very, very small towns, where it just isn't feasible to do what you want to do in that location. Again, I don't know if it's something that you can do online. I don't know if you can sell prints or sell online. Maybe that's something to consider, but there's something about that community, and I got that with this Five of Pentacles too. There's something about that community that isn't the best. There's something about that community. I don't know if it's the town, if it's just too small. I don't know if it's the demographics, the makeup of the town, of the people. I don't know what the income level is. I'm not sure. They like your work. They enjoy your work, but it is not the town that is going to be financially fruitful in the long term. So you are going to have to kind of consider what you can do to move around and adjust to accommodate that. As a matter of fact, I feel like that town is, you don't find it very stimulating spiritually, emotionally. This is like that it's an ace again, so it's a good card, but this one comes out reversed. And the wands are our spirit, our energy, our desires, our wants, our goals. And it's almost like I get that this place is kind of holding you back. It's almost like this place is holding you back. There's something about this area where you're not working to your level. You're not being able to do what you want to do. And I don't know if it's on your end or if it's just because of the town or the situation. I don't know, but there's something about this particular town in this area that it's just not blending well with you. So, I would expect you to eventually, potentially, if it's feasible for you, if you're capable of doing it, if you're able and willing to do it, maybe it is something that you need to consider in the future, moving away to a different place, a different location. And then we have the Empress reversed. And so usually when the Empress comes out, immediately I always think mother, but it doesn't necessarily have to be mother. But that is the feeling that I get associated with the Empress. However, in this particular one, it's reversed. So, I guess to go back to the question of integration, let me back up here for a second. So we have integration. I almost feel like with this card here coming out, there's not a whole lot of integration that's available in that area. I don't know if they have local art shows or museums or functions, or days where you can, in the summertime, display your work. I don't know if that area has that, but I feel like they're lacking in the this is fire. So that, again, that's energy. That's energy, right? And it's like, this is also that element that goes with creativity. Okay, so it's like it's lacking in creativity. It's just not this. It's not a very. It's just not that type of place. And so your question about how do I better integrate into the local fabric or the local scene, it almost feels like it's not the kind of environment that even offers much as far as integrating into any scene. And I could be way wrong. There could be, I don't know where you live or how big the town is or the city, but there's something that it's missing for you. There's at least something that it's missing for you. And it is, in a sense, holding you back because this is coming out reversed. So you need this environment. You need an environment that can feed into your creativity, that you can actually, be surrounded by, people that you share interests with. And it doesn't mean that you got to be completely social or anything like that, but you would probably do better in an area where, you can work on what you love doing. And like I said in the beginning, it doesn't mean that they don't love your work. It doesn't mean that they are laughing at you, but it's just not. It's like me trying to sell candles to a person who is scared to light candles. They love them, like my mom, for example. She loves the smell of them. And, I always take her, a couple of little wax melts or whatever, but she does not burn them. She does not light the candle. She doesn't melt the melters because she has no melter or no wax warmer, and she's scared to light candles. So it's not a person. It doesn't mean that she doesn't like, the scent or the product, but it's just not something that she's going to use. So, she's never purchased anything. I've never given her anything because I know she's just not going to use it. Not because she doesn't like it or, she thinks it's ridiculous. It's just because it's just not her thing. So I think that you're kind of surrounded by that in your area. And then we have this mom figure. So this could be, is there a connection to your mom in this town? Is this a hometown? The mom is coming up, or this empress is coming up reversed. So I kind of look at that as the opposite of what you would hope or want a mom or a mother figure to be. Usually you want that warm, loving, comforting, fraternal kind of soft, supportive person, right? That's what this person is supposed to be. That's what we are hoping for with this person, okay? And in this particular situation, I'm actually looking at it and she's pregnant. She's actually pregnant. And so I almost feel like it's not necessarily a mother figure per se. I think it's the birth of something. And it's the birth of your business and success. And I feel like it's coming out in reverse because of this area. There's something going on with this area that's not that great. And I feel like it's holding you back success-wise. So, I do think in the future I foresee a move eventually. I do. I don't know when, but I do foresee a move that's a 7. Could be 7 months from now, could be 7 years. But I do see that there is going to have to be a move. And it will birth a whole new environment for you. It'll birth a whole new experience for you. Okay? It's going to open up a whole world of what you've haven't experienced yet, but are dying to experience. And so that's what I think that card is. All right, so now we're going to kind of go into the incel. I hope I'm saying that right. Well, let me add these back. All right, so let's go back to okay. Also, I was involved in the incel community. Do they know and or pick up on that? Is it true? You think it's more my introversion and or what I look like? The way you look. I don't know. Let me see. Also, what possible outcomes do you see for the whole incel? All right. So the way you look, I think, is holding you back more personally. You're the one holding yourself back on that one. Okay. But let me ask specifically. I'm going to use the same deck about the incel community and if that is playing a role. But thus far, based on what has come out, I don't believe that it is. All right, so what is, is the incel community playing a role in how, or the incel connection playing a role in how the community views Garrett? Okay, is the incel community playing a role in how Garrett is viewed? Knight of Pentacles, and then we have Judgment. Got that Judgment again. Got the Five of Pentacles again. Let me do a couple more. Seven of Cups. And do one more. And then we have the Eight of Swords, and we have it reversed. Okay. So I look at that Judgment first, and I don't think that they are judging you. I don't think that the incel has any kind of, it's not, I mean, I could be wrong because it is a Judgment card, so there actually very well may be some judgment coming from some people. But I do feel like this judgment is more coming from you. Okay. I really do. I think that you are, I think that there's a couple of factors at play here. There's the community at large that's not very, artsy, welcoming. I don't know what that is. Like I said, it could be just, I mean, I don't know. Maybe you live in a small farm town and it's just not what people, are buying, right? It doesn't mean that they don't like the work or don't think you're talented, but it's just not their priority. It's just not what they're doing. So I think that there's a couple of things at play here, and there very well could be a couple of people that are judging you based on, a connection to the incel, not the physical, the connection to the incel, because that's what I asked about. The physical, I believe, is you, that you are concerned about that. And we talked about that in the beginning and what you have to kind of do going forward. But this is a self-judgment. To me, this is a self-judgment. You need to kind of make amends with yourself. Make amends with yourself and say, hey, you know what? It's whatever. It's, if I had a part in that or if I was part of the community. And even if you're part of a community, that's not something that you need to even, if that's something that you read or if you go on, websites or whatever, that's your own private business. So don't feel like you need to, you did say something about putting it on a story or posting, tell them about my story or posting. I'm not sure if you posted something on your story or something in regards to that. But, I would honestly recommend that, if that's what you want to share, that's what you share. But if you feel that it is affecting your business, maybe have a private account and maybe have a business account and maybe don't mix the two. I've tried to do that myself because I didn't want to integrate my personal with the business. And so I do have 2 Instagrams and they kind of ended up integrating anyways. So it didn't work out as I planned or as I thought it would. But you may have to have like this business side of you and then your personal side and keep the two separate. And that way, whatever you choose to do on a personal level, it's whatever. And maybe you don't want to do that and then you want to be completely open and integrated, that's fine as well. You may come across in your lifetime that there are going to be some people out there that do judge. But I don't think that it's the majority, because I'm looking at this card and I see 2 people. Usually on the judgment, there's 8 people on the judgment card in a typical tarot deck. This card only has 2. So I think that if there are a couple of people out there judging you, it's literally, it's the minority. It's not a lot. It's a couple. So there might be a couple of people that, whatever, but they may have issues themselves and they just may be judgmental people, and they who knows, right? We can't judge, right? We don't know what people are going through. So I don't really think that connection to incel is, really playing too much of a factor in the business. I think it's more the location. And then we have, the Knight of Pentacles. So that's a card that to me signals slowness, taking time. He's not riding a horse, he's riding a cow, right? You're not going to go as fast on a cow as you are going to go a horse. It's like slow and steady wins the race. And so that's what you need to keep in mind. You have to stay forward. He is focused. He's determined. He is going to get to the finish line. He's not going to get there as fast as some, right? The Knight of Swords is probably going to get there days ahead of him, but that's okay, because he's still going to reach his destination. He's still getting there. He's still on the right path. He's going forward and he's doing what he needs to do. And it may take him a little bit longer, but that's okay. And I feel like that's actually what you're dealing with. Okay, I definitely have no doubt that you are going to be successful. Whatever successful means. I mean, that's subjective, of course, but I do feel like you are talented enough to become successful, but it's not going to happen overnight. But you need to stay focused and stay on the path and keep going forward. And whatever that decision is in that Two of Swords, you're going to have to make that Two of Swords decision and figure out what you're going to do and start kind of overcoming these hurdles and working on yourself, working on self-care. And then again, we have the Five of Pentacles again. So it's a lot of, there's some, financial concern. There's also, again, I think not really necessarily mental health on this one, because it's not next to a mental card, but this can represent, I don't know. When I look at this person, I mean, he's just alone. He looks cold. He looks unhappy. This isn't a very good feeling card. And on top of that, it's reversed. And so, when I look at that card, I'm thinking of you as that person. And with you saying the incel community, what is the incel community? It's a group of like-minded not necessarily like-minded, but it's a connection to a group of people that you feel are similar in some aspect, right? That's what any group is. People join the chess group because they like playing chess, and they are in a group with other people that like playing chess, and so they join that group. That's just the way it goes. And so you join these groups. We join these groups and these communities and these organizations because we have an interest in something, or we're dealing with something, and we're finding other people that we can connect with. Mothers Against Drunk Drivers, right? Unfortunately, that's a group that exists because they've probably lost a child due to a drunk driver, and now they've created this group and they lean on each other for support to get through this situation and to potentially help others. So I do feel like it's your connection to this community is basically to do just that. And that, again, comes down to human nature. And that's just,
you feel better when you're around people that can not just sympathize but empathize with you as well. And I think that that's what you're reaching for, is that empathy, to know that you're not the only one, to comfortably express your feelings and not feel like you're being judged or laughed at. But I do believe that that is why this card came out. And so there is a feeling of loneliness. There's a feeling of loneliness and not a good feeling, almost like a rejected feeling. You're not making the money that you thought you were going to be making. You're not having the success that you expected to have by now. But I have to tell you to keep on going forward. You've got so many cards tonight that are coming out saying go forward, keep going, keep going, keep going. Stay on the course, stay on the course. You're on the right way, you're in the right direction, stay on the course. Work on mental health, okay? However you need to work on mental health. And start being conscious about how you feel and think about yourself. It's all in your head. It's a lot of what you're dealing with is in your head. It is not what other people are thinking. This is a in your head card. I couldn't have pulled an in your head card a better card than this one, than if I had went through the deck and picked a card. The Eight of Swords is all about the mind and the tricks that the mind can play on us. It can literally make us believe something. This woman feels that she's trapped. It's a silly card when you look at it. It's a heavy card, but it's a silly card. And the way the card is set up is that this woman who is blinded, she's got her eyes covered, a blindfold. Usually her arms are tied. And then she's got some sort of a blockage there with the swords. And she believes wholeheartedly that she's stuck. She cannot get out of that situation. She has no means of getting out of that situation. She can't see. She can't do anything. But if you really look, her hands are free, right? Her hands are free. She can take the blind off, or the blindfold. It's not much of an obstacle there with the swords. You can start moving those swords and you can start getting them out of the way and you can be back on the path. And so this is that card that says a lot of it is in your head. It's self-doubt in your head. She is really seriously feeling like she's stuck. She believes that she's stuck. She's in that spot. She can't get out. There's no way out. It's impossible. But it really isn't. It really isn't. It's just what she's made herself believe. And all those mountains in the background represent obstacles. These are obstacles in your head. These are things that, are playing on your mind. And so that tells me that there is more than one thing that you probably have to deal with, okay, just by the number of the peaks in the mountains. And with the water, it tells me that it takes a toll on your emotions as well. But a lot of these things are in your head, and if you want to overcome them, you're gonna have to really start maybe taking a mental check of things that you're thinking and feeling, and ask yourself, is this really the way it is? Is this really an issue, or am I just feeling like it's an issue? And if I'm feeling like it's an issue and it's not really real, then how can I move forward and not let it affect me? That's something that you're going to have to, I think, really think about. But I think that a lot of your issues right now are really in your head. You can overcome them, okay? And again, we've got the Seven of Cups, which is a decision card. So this tells me that you might be the type of person that, again, it reminds me of that Two of Swords, that decision. This tells me that you are the type of person that can't really make up your mind. You're like, okay, should I do this? Or, what are my options? Oh, God, I don't know if I should do this or if I should do that. What if I do this and that happens? What if I do that and this happens? You're kind of that type of person. You can be very indecisive at times. And so again, that is connected to also to the high priestess that you pulled earlier as well. So that's a card that you need. This is something that you need to work on. This is a weakness that you have, and that is the self-doubt. Like, you cannot make a decision perhaps, and you're gonna have to start listening to your inner self, to your true self, and what you really truly want to do. Is it always going to be comfortable? No, it's not. But you need to start doing things for you based on how you feel and how you want to move forward. And you're going to have to just kind of stick with that. So listen to your gut. Usually that first thought is the right thought. And you might be doubting yourself and saying, no, I want to do that, but there's no way in hell that I can do that. There's no way I could do that. Stop that. You have to stop that, and you have to almost like untrain the brain from doing something it's been doing for a long time, and then almost like retraining it. It's like retraining the mind. And so you're going to have to kind of do that, and you're going to have to kind of get used to making decisions. And it's okay to take your time and think, because it's not good sometimes to make a rash decision. Of course, weigh consequences. Even if it is your gut instinct, I'm not saying just say, oh, okay, that's it. Tomorrow I'm selling my place and I'm moving, No, it may take time, but you can make a mental decision. You can say, hey, you know what? I am going to move eventually. It's not going to be today. It's not even going to be this year. Might not be next year either, but I am setting that in stone for the future. I am going to move. I'm going to relocate to a place that I can be more successful in what I want to do. And I'm going to start working on that now. And then you've made your decision, and then you start working on that. So, as far as, again, like the intel or the incel question, I do feel like there could be some people out there judging, but not enough, I think, to be concerned about it. And then, what are the outcomes for the incel community? All right. So, for this one, I want to switch decks. And let me go to this one here. This is the Dream Keepers Tarot. What's the outcome for the incel community? What's the outcome for the incel community? The outcome for the incel community. What's the future? Future for the incel community. Queen of Cups. Okay. Two of Wands. Four of Pentacles. Three of Pentacles. Ace of Pentacles. And let's do one more. And the Emperor. All right. So, let me see. We've got the Ace of Pentacles, the Three of Pentacles. Again, I feel like, it's a community where people can connect, right? People that are, they share a commonality. There's some things that you guys share possibly in a community, that they are going to each other for support. And that is, to me, what this group is and what it will continue to be. Okay. However, these are butterfly wings, and what does a butterfly do? It's a it transforms. It's a transformation, right? It goes through a metamorphosis. So it is going to change. I do believe it's going to change. It's going to evolve. And perhaps I do think it's going to evolve, but at the same time, we've got that Two of Wands reversed. So it's almost like this is a different Two of Wands. This is a new deck. I actually feel like when I look at this card, there's people that are in this community that are there for that support and for a sense of community. And then there's people in there that possibly have a hidden agenda, right? Because she looks like she's hidden in that door and she's looking out at her. And so it's almost like it's going to be split. This is also a 2. This is a 2 of Wands and it came out reversed. So I feel like it's almost kind of split into 2. It might actually, and that kind of goes with this one too, because it's a 3, but it's 2 people. And they're connected right now, but I don't feel like it's going to stay connected. So I almost have a feeling that it could branch off into 2 more segments, into 2 different types of people. And one has okay intentions and uses this as a form of community, as friendship and support. And then there's another group that has a completely different ulterior motive. And so that I think that will actually come about. And then we have the Four of Pentacles, which is money. And I love how this particular deck has scales in it, so it's all about balance. It is balanced, I think, at the moment, but when this card here is right next to it, it makes me feel like I feel like it's actually going to kind of break apart into segments. Even though this is a 4, it's still connected to the 2, right? It's part of the 2. And we've got 2 pentacles here. I'm not even almost looking at these pentacles here. I'm looking at these 2. So I'm distinctly seeing 2 and I'm getting 2. I feel like it's going to split up into 2 different groups, or there's going to be 2 different groups within the incel community, if that makes sense. And I don't know anything about the incel community at all, except for the little bit that I Googled today, just looking it up. And so I don't know if there's 2 groups that are kind of developing or emerging, but I feel like that could potentially happen in the future. And that is actually going to draw the attention of other people, okay? And I think more people will start to pay attention. This is the leader. So remember when I referred to the king as the professor? This is like the dean of the college that's above the professor. So this is like the top dog. You can't get any higher, okay? This is the number one Uno person that's in control. He is a bull. Look at that bull, okay? He is the type that's going to charge ahead and get what he wants to get no matter what. You don't mess with him. So this could be a person that is within this community that rises up kind of as a leader, okay? Or it could be the attention that this group is creating, and perhaps maybe a leader recognizes it. I kind of feel like it's the first one, though. I feel like there's a person who will kind of rise up and kind of become like the spokesperson for this community, maybe. Or maybe there is already. Maybe there's a spokesperson already, or maybe there's a person that is well known in the community and people look up to as kind of this person. So there's that. And then we have the Queen of Cups, so we have this female kind of vibe going on. But she doesn't have a head. A lot of these people do not have heads. These ones do not have heads either. So there's this detachment. There's this, again, it's connected to the moon. So it's kind of like this dreamy sense. So I'm not quite sure how that card is playing into this. I keep thinking, the word detachment comes to mind. if that makes sense. I don't know what that means, but the word, I mean, I know what it means, but I'm not sure what it means in connection to the incel community. But there's it could be just part of the split. I feel like the group is going to divide. And then we have the Ace of Pentacles. So that's actually a good card, the Ace of Pentacles. Let me draw a couple more. How is this group going to be viewed by others? How is the incel community going to be viewed by others? How is the incel community going to be viewed by others? Two of Pentacles. Nine of Swords. The Lovers. Interesting. The Two of Pentacles. So again, we've got this 2. The 2 keeps coming up. There's 2. 2 keeps coming up. So without a doubt, I feel like we've got like a split in this community. There's a split in the community. I don't think that the rest of the people, I don't think that the overall view of the group is that great, because this one here is the Nine of Swords. And the Nine of Swords is not the best card. It's kind of like the Ten of Swords. It's the end of the rope. It's, I mean, just looking at the card, you don't get a very good vibe from that card. Okay, it looks like this person has been, it actually looks like this person has been whipped, but, it doesn't look like that up close. It looks like there's writing on the back. But this is typically known as that 3 a.m. card, where you've got so many mental things going on that you cannot function. You cannot function because there's so much stuff going on in one's head. And so there's a lot of issues I think that people have with this community. And there's a lot of issues that people within the community have mentally. And so I do think that that plays a role in it as well. But I don't think that I don't necessarily know if it's going to grow. I think it's still in its very early stages. So if anything, if anything, it's either going to grow or completely just stop, because it's in the early stages based on all these 2s. I actually do think it's going to grow. I think it's going to grow. It's not going to be a fad, I don't think. But it is going to split into 2 different groups. And you will be able to distinctly tell the difference between the 2. And it won't be well received, I don't think, from most people, from a lot of people. And then we have the Lovers. This is a different deck. Look at the people dancing inside of her dress. It's almost like a hidden self. It's like she's got this dress, and it's what people see on the outside. It's kind of like that judgment idea, don't judge a book by its cover. There's something inside of her. So it's like she has this outside here that we all see that's elegant, and it looks like she is, pretty well off. And then on the inside, she has this whole other secret self. It's got little people there with robes, and it's got little moons, like half moons on top. So it's like the secret. It's like the secret self. So that's interesting, that secret self. Let me use a different deck. I'm having a hard time with that one. It's interesting and it's a neat deck, but let me use my Los Scarabeo again. Well, no. Let me use this one here. All right, so All right. What possible outcomes do you see as the whole for the incel community? Will actually continue our changes in society or on both ends in general about to take place? Will the government step in and legalize prostitution or put in programs or mandates? Okay. All right, so let's try this again. I'm going to ask the same question. What is the future outcome for the incel community? What's the future outcome for the incel community? Possible changes to society. Future outcome. Okay, we've got another 3. And it's reversed. We have the star card. So that's actually a good sign. That's a good card. And then we have the 9 of baskets, which is the 9 of cups. And then let me do one more. The father of coins, so that is the father is the king, so the king of pentacles. So I do think with the king of pentacles coming out that there is some sort of financial aspect to it as far as how society or the government would look at this community. If it's not bringing them any money or financial gain, then it's not something that they're going to, I just don't. That's kind of the way I'm thinking of that one. We've got the 3 of Pentacles also reversed, and so that is, again, the 3 of Pentacles is working together. It's teamwork. It's being united, and with it coming out reversed, it's that unity being broken up. There's not a sense of group anymore. It's splitting. So I kind of feel like, again, it goes back with the first cards that I pulled, like there is going to be a split, maybe even into 3, but at least there's going to be 2. There's going to be 2 different, factions, if you will. I don't know, but there's I definitely see a split eventually. And then through that, I think that one of those factions or splits or groups are actually going to create something good. I think that there's some potential there for some change to happen or some sense of community. I don't know, but the star is a good card. And it's a birth card. It's a wishes card. It's a goal card. It's looking, towards the future. Look at that little flower that's growing. It's sprouting up, and eventually it's going to grow into a big, huge, full-grown flower. It's the birth of something. So I actually think that this split is good for one of the sides, but the other side, I don't think that it's going to be beneficial at all. So that's kind of the way I see that group going. And then the 9 of baskets, which is the 9 of cups, I think that with that being right next to the star card, the 9 of cups is a good card. It's a contentment. It's happiness. You have everything that you need. And so I kind of see this group splitting up, and it's going to be, you're either on this side or you're on that side, and the 2 are not going to be in alignment with each other anymore. They're not going to see eye to eye. They're not going to have any kind of similarities. There might be some common core similarities, but there's going to be definitely a break, and one side is going to do way better than the other. And then let me switch back to the Lo Scarabeo and ask about changes in society. I'm assuming that you're talking about changes in society as far as in regards to the incel community. Do a lot of these men suffer from social disorder and mental illness, or both? Yeah, so that one, like I said earlier, that's hard for me to answer. I can pull a card on it. Let me pull a card on that one. Do these men suffer from mental illness or social disorders, or both, or is it in their heads? That's going to be on a case-by-case basis, but let's ask the cards. What is going on with the majority of the men who are part of the incel community? So we couldn't have pulled three different cards more than these three here from one another. We've got the Four of Pentacles, you got the Emperor, which is the big dog again, and then we have the Five of Wands, which is competitiveness. And so but that competitiveness is reversed, and so it's kind of like, it's almost like this group that has been this is like losing the competition. That's what that is. That's when that comes out reversed, it's like losing the competition. So you've got these groups of people, or these individuals that feel like they've just been knocked down and knocked down and knocked down and knocked down over and over and over again, and it's frustrating, and it creates anger, it causes anger. And so I feel like a lot of these men have anger. That fire represents anger to me, and look how that guy is looking in the face. He's mad. So I do feel like a lot of these people are drawn to this group because they're anger. They have anger inside of them for how they feel that they've been treated and how they potentially may have been treated. So that's part of it, right? And then we have the Emperor, okay, which is that person that you don't want to mess with. It's his way or the highway. So you have these people that are got to be in control of the situation. It could potentially be personality issues. Are they always right? Are they always right? Can you never tell this person anything? Are they too judgmental? Are they overbearing? So I do think that some of it is, as some of these guys are in this group because it's a result of frustration, and some of them are in this group because perhaps personality wise they have maybe lacking some humbleness, because this guy here, although he is very highly intelligent, he can also be, I'll just say it, an ass, right? He can be that, look at the way he has that stern look, and he's turned away from us. It's almost like, I'm not even going to give you the time of day. You're not even worth looking at, kind of a vibe that I get from him. It looks like if you were to go and ask him a question, I don't even know if he would even look at you while you were asking a question, or even if he would dignify you with an answer. He has that aura about him. That's the vibration that I'm getting off of this card. And so some of it could be personality, which could be due to a mental illness, or a disorder of some sort, or a social disorder. So that does play a role in some of them. And then again, to kind of go back to that humbleness, I actually think that it's hard for me to say what these men are dealing with. I don't know, but what I'm getting is that there's a ton of different reasons why people are in this group, and not all of them have mental illnesses or mental disorders. Some of them do, some of them don't. I'm imagining based on these three cards that I pulled. There's at least a minimum of 4 or 5 different reasons as to why these people are drawn to the incel community. Some, like this guy here, it kind of goes back to that being humble. Maybe, he's too big for his britches, right? I look at him and he is a giant in a tiny house, right? He's too big for that house. He doesn't fit in that house, but he is adamant that he's staying. So it could be, what's the word I'm looking for? When you are... You refuse to budge, like you're very stuck in your way, right? It could be a lot of people that are just stuck in their way. They are not budging. They are not willing to change. They are not accepting the fact that they have outgrown this situation, that this situation is no longer for them. So I do think that there's probably, I don't want to say a lot, right, But there are probably some mental issues going on. And I think it just comes down to each and every person dealing with themselves and searching for that sense of community. But I feel like overall that this group is going to eventually split and faction off. And it's kind of, one is going to be okay and one maybe not. And as far as how society, oh God, I gotta end this because you're not gonna watch 2 hours of this. Okay. And changes in society. Let's do that. Changes in society. That's good. That's hopeful. New things and leaving things behind and putting things behind us. So that's actually a good sign. I didn't expect such good cards to kind of, well, we've got that 9 or 8 of cups. But as far as society and how, let me see, how did you ask the question? Are changes in society or on both ends in general about to take place? Will the government step in and legalize prostitution or put in programs or mandates? Vocational training for these men, social and grooming skills, vocational training. Do a lot of these men suffer? I don't think that they're going to do that. I really don't. Based off of these 2 cards here, the 8 of Cups and the 9 of Wands. I don't think that they're going to do that. But as far as changes in society, I do think that it's eventually this faction or whatever, this division of whatever it is, the one group is going to, I think, start to see, some more positive situations around them. There's something about one of these groups that I think is going to be really successful, and they're gonna actually gain attention and momentum, and it'll actually be a good thing because that's a really good card, and but it's going to be one of the groups because I do feel like it's going to split. And then the other one, I feel like that's in, and I actually feel like this is another signal that this is going to split because this is a walking away. This is leaving behind. So I feel like there's going to be, I feel like it's going to be a big split. I feel like there could be potentially a person that steps up in this community, kind of as wanting to be a leader, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense, but there could be a person, and that is going to cause the split, perhaps. And that is the walking away. That's the walking away. And it's coming out reverse because it's like they don't want to. Like they don't want to walk away, but they're being forced to walk away because it's just not for them anymore. And so in the process of walking away, they're going to kind of run into that, and it's going to kind of evolve into something that they didn't expect, and it's going to be a good thing. But they are going to walk away because they're just not in connection with this leader or this leader's belief system or whatever it is. I don't know, but they're going to have to kind of burn their bridges with it and kind of put things behind them and move on. And that's definitely what this one is. This is kind of like, I'm done. I'm headed out of here. And so I do feel like that's kind of interesting that it came out like that. But I don't know. You'll have to tell me what you think, if that's a possibility, if there's even, a possibility that it could kind of faction off like that and have 2 separate groups. And is it a possible situation in this community to have a leader per se? But I feel like that is kind of on the horizon. So I'm going to end it there because I know I'm at like almost 2 hours. So I hope this helps. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. And I wish you good luck, and definitely sending you good vibrations, and I will talk to you later.